Hello, everybody. Well, first of all, happy International Women's Day. If you haven't done it yet already, shout out some of those women that are important in your life. Let's give the women some love. Like the title said, "Who runs the world?" I definitely one of those people that think women run the world. Again, if you ever see a coworker sick, a guy looking wanting his mom when he gets sick, that tells you everything you need to know because I've seen it many times. Anyways, welcome to episode 4 of Queens Road, guys. I'm your host, Carlos Estrada, joined by my usual cohorts here. Taylor, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. There's been a lot of fun all women's wrestling this past, couple days. So I've just been enjoying that. And obviously, it's International Women's Day, so it's me day. So
There we go. Yep, on your day. The one lady we have on the panel. Thank you for representing today. Deb, what's going on? How are you?
Pretty good. Also, equally as happy to celebrate Women's Day, and the women's wrestling that we'll be discussing.
Cool. Soda, how are you? Happy
I,
International Women's Day for all the women out there.
hello, I am all right. I'm very excited because women not only are the backbone of our wrestling industry, but our fans as well, and we owe this to them.
Absolutely. So again, if you guys were looking for us last week, we apologize. Again, when we were looking to do the show, it's kind of like one of those things where, like, we're going to keep talking about International Women's Day, and it's the next Sunday, so it kind of made sense to postpone for a week. And it kind of worked out well. Taylor was under the weather last week, so I'm glad that she's here to join us today. But yeah, we're going to get it started, guys. So again, lots to discuss. Again, thank you all for joining us. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the Wrestle Collective here on YouTube. Shopwc.com. Get yourself some good Queen Roads merchandise. We do have the shirts on there as well. But yeah, I just think it's a great day. Again, women are the backbone of our world, our country. So it was a good day to do this. So we're gonna start off today's show where we're supposed to start off last week's show, and that is with the Elimination Chamber. So Elimination Chamber was last Saturday. We had two women's matches on the show. We had the Women's Elimination Chamber, and then we had the women's Intercontinental title match. So the good thing about the show, I will say, is that the women started the show. The women's matches were the first two matches. Soto, somebody who doesn't usually watch WWE and tuned in for the sake of the show, what were your thoughts on Elimination Chamber as far as women go?
I haven't watched an elimination chamber in many years, so this is something a little different for me because I wasn't really familiar with a lot of the storylines going in. I prepared myself. I looked into things. Obviously, I had my predictions of Asuka because she's someone I'm very familiar with and I'm a big fan of. But somebody that stood out was Raquel Rodriguez, who I've only seen wrestle once before, and she was a major powerhouse in this match. I didn't really know what to expect, but it was a delight to see her she like took down everyone. She kicked some real ass there. Uh I I've heard a lot of really good things about Rhea Ripley, and this was like my first time watching Rhea Ripley because I know a lot of my friends really like her. So it was exciting to see her, and I understand why WWE and its fans are so hot on her. So I had a pretty good time, even if I was unfamiliar.
Awesome. And also, just I guess I should have told the results. So, and the opening match of Elimination Chamber was Rhea Ripley winning the Elimination Chamber. She's going on to face Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's or for the WWE Women's title at WrestleMania. And then also in the second match, we had AJ Lee defeating Becky Lynch, and she is now the new WWE Intercontinental Women's Champion. Um, Deb, your thoughts on Elimination Chamber?
Really, really good women's showcased that night. It was refreshing to see. My prediction went uh, pretty much accurately. I had Rhea winning. She was the most credible winner, you know, the one that made the most sense. And good for AJ Lee. I hope to I'm excited that she's a part of the intercontinental lineage, and I want to see her feud with more up and coming breakout contenders. Two of them in particular in one match, a borderline three way. What did you think, Tay?
So for me personally, and maybe this is just because like I'm not necessarily like soured on Rhea Ripley, but also kind of seeing her in that main spot all the time when you have again a pretty loaded roster of people. It just kind of gets old after a while. I understand why she's there, but I wish that we would have gotten more story to build up why she won the chamber to go after Jade. Like if and WWE obviously had to have known that Bianca Belair, because that's where they wanted this to go, was not going to be back in time for Elimination Chamber. So for me, I feel like, and I wish that there would have been more story going into Rhea winning. Like, and it just seemed to, and maybe this is just how I'm reading how she's been talking about, everything. It really seemed like she was enjoying what she was doing with EO in the tag division. So to see her kind of get, I don't want to say like shoehorned, but like thrown back into it because they knew that Bianca wasn't going to be back, it was just kind of frustrating to me. I will say I was very happy that AJ Lee won the belt, though. As someone who did idolize AJ as a young girl, I really liked her, aesthetic. She wasn't like all of the other girls. It was very nostalgic for me, so I was very happy that she is a part of that lineage, and I think that whoever wins that title off of her will get a very it'll be very big for them.
Yeah, that was well said. That's my biggest thing about this is just the storyline. Like my biggest thing is I am worried like what's EO's spot going to be for WrestleMania, as far as that goes, because now Rhea's doing the independent one because again she's been the focus point of this whole last year, and so she better have a WrestleMania match and it better be predominant, a nice showcase. But my other thing about Rhea Ripley, and this is like what I've even felt like when EO won last year, it's like they're giving into the noise of like, oh man, people are they're mad because she's getting pushed and they don't think she's there. If the fans want Rhea to be there, like if the minority is the ones that feel like she's Rhea Hogan, like some people call her, like let her shine. Like if she's one of your biggest stars in the company, man or woman, then like that's the part where I'm okay with like let's do this. Like even like last year, like again I love EO, but for me it should have been Rhea versus Bianca 1-on-1. Like that was the match that was originally done. It should have happened. But then they went to EO winning the title. Like for me, I guess if it's because low ticket sales, I'm happy that we're finally getting that match because it's like quit diddle-dallying around. Don't worry about the backlash. Like let it happen. Like show like prove us Rhea haters. And I'm not a Rhea hater by any means, but the ones that feel like she's showcased so much, prove us wrong and show us why she's earned that spot. Again, if she's earned the spot, showcase her. Like we're again, Cody Rhodes wins the title again because again they gotta have him have the title. Like treat the women the same way. So that's the one part where I'm kind of like in her favor. Like let Rhea have her moment. Thoughts on that?
No, I agree. I think a lot of it was, and I think like I said, I don't think that, and it's not her. So like I'm not necessarily, there's no hostility, but like, and I wish more people kind of felt like that too. Like it's not her fault that she is pushed the way she is. Triple H, among with all other promoters, like it's not just him. They have their favorites, and you'll see those people all of the time. And while it gets old after a while, I mean, my one of my favorite wrestlers was in this world title picture for a long time, like up until mid last year. So I can't like complain too much. I think I just wish that there would be more substance to what.
Who are you talking? You talking about Charlotte?
Yep. Like I said, like I feel like I don't want to necessarily see it as like complaining. I just wish that they did more to prove for her why she's able to do what she does. Because I don't think Rhea's bad. I think it's just more of a constant, like, I wish that there was some sort of rotation. Like, I don't know. That's just. It's just
Could I give a perspective? I feel
Of course.
I don't, since I'm an outsider and I'm just now seeing Rhea Ripley, and like I said, I fully understand why she's in the position that she's in, and I've seen like statistics on Twitter that she's been in like every Mania for the past 7 years, like facing for a bunch of different titles. That's a feat in and of itself, and I don't many years ago I don't think that sort of thing could have happened, but I do understand the like why other people are not showcased as much as she is. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like, you can allow everybody to have time, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought.
no, you can go on.
No, like the thing I want to point out to people, and again, this is and it was a great statistic. Last year's WrestleMania, when we got Jade Cargill versus Naomi, was the first time ever in WrestleMania that there was a feud not revolving around a title. So I think like that's where people got to remember is like we never got these matches, and that's why again like so just so you guys know in next month we're gonna book like night one of WrestleMania like it was an all women's show, and so that's something we're gonna do because I think the thing that would benefit is again is like just having more women's matches on WrestleMania, having secondary feuds that don't revolve around a title. The fact that like Jade and Naomi was the first one, like that's a shame, and that's where you got to build those secondary feuds, and women don't need championships, but just give us feuds that matter, and giving them those matches that don't have to be showcased around a title, and then you have that. So again, if the rumor is there's going to be 6 matches this year on WrestleMania that revolve around women, then that's a good step in the right direction of that.
I like that AEW does like women's matches that don't revolve around. Obviously, there's a lot of progress to be made still, but something that has become more common with AEW is they've had feuds that don't revolve around a title, like Toni Storm and Marina Shafir right now. Like that's a huge step in the right direction on a pay-per-view, mind you. That's which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, exactly, and that's just getting more of those matches booked would be good, and that's the thing I think with Rhea people forget about. It's like her popularity came when she was with Dominic and being mommy, and she wasn't even defending the title until she had it. So it just left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths, and even the whole thing with Charlotte, she gets a lot of bad hate because again Vince was ping ponging the title between her and Sasha at the time, and it was never really giving Sasha proper title reign. So Charlotte gets a lot of that say. Charlotte's not the one that booked those 14 title changes. It was the booker, but you can't deny her talent. So again, you got to remember sometimes these talent a lot of times are just doing what they're told. And it's the booking. Like even the whole thing with Bianca, I feel like they forgot about her. And oh shit, she's like, well shit, if you're gonna forget about me, then I'm not gonna speak up. But then they wanted to use her. Hey, you ready to come back? She's like, dumbasses, my finger's still fucked up. And so now it's like they had to pivot because she's kind of like, if you have no desire to bring me on because you're not going to build me proper feuds, and I'm not going to speak up. And now you kind of fucked yourselves because you guys weren't paying attention to me. And I really do think that's what happened with her.
And a lot of things when people are in this talking about in this discussion is a lot of this doesn't usually fall on the talent. It falls on the people in charge and the bookers and whatnot. And I think the talent, I can't say this enough about the women. They do what they can with what they have. They've had to do that more than anybody else, more than the men. I think they've always had to adapt more than the men because the men are already predisposed to, having more. They have more to handle and have more to deal with. The women only get so much. So like I can't say that about the ladies enough.
And then I think that's one benefit of this right now. Again, they don't have a lot of strong men's feuds either. So again, the other side of it is I think the women are benefiting this year because they're getting to have more matches now because the women that you can't deny the talent. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And again, just fans, when we are getting those women matches, when we are getting those things, speak out, shout out, like let them know that you want to see the women more, that you want those secondary feuds so they're showcased in better lights, and that every feud doesn't have to revolve around the title. Anyone else have anything about Elimination Chamber?
I think I'm good.
So the other thing I wanted to show. Oh, go ahead.
Other than it pissed me off how quick Alexa got knocked out of there.
Oh,
No.
please,
That made me
yes.
so mad. But sorry, we can continue. That
I agree, and then seeing, and again, I'm glad that again, I'm really glad that Raquel got to be shined, but that double stacking gave me PTSD of when Roman did that to Edge and Danielson. Like, no. But again, guys, for the sake of time, we got someone waiting to get in here who it's midnight for them now, so we kind of want to move on quickly. But the one thing I wanted to showcase really quick, talking about WWE, was Vengeance Day was yesterday. And we had 3 women's matches on the show. We had so we had Tatum Paxley becoming the new NXT North American champion. We also had Lola Vice defeating Kalani Jordan in what's it called, Deb? Underground, the underground match. Yeah, underground. And also, I think what was her best performance of the show was Blake Monroe defeating Jada Parker in a street fight. It was definitely my favorite match of hers so far. So again, I wanted to showcase the fact that again, NXT, Booker, Sean cooking down there. We had three out of the 5 matches were women, and I think all the matches were really good matches.
I want to highlight the rate in which Izzy Dame is improving. I know that her title win was not received very well because it wasn't booked really well, but she made Tatum look really good, and she sold that match well. She made Tatum look like a very strong champion already.
And to what you're saying, Dad, I think that's important too. Like, people to remember, like, NXT is it's their developmental, even though it is their 3rd brand, and I know we don't want to call it development where it's their 3rd brand, but it's for someone like again, these NIL towns are getting their first performance. Like, I too remember Izzy Dane first coming in, like with Kiana James. It was so awkward. Like, she just seemed very awkward in the ring, and to see how far she's come, it's really cool to see. It's just like we're seeing. And again, before we move on for WWE, I want to shout out the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions with Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Like, Lash Legend has improved greatly from when she first debuted on NXT, and getting to see her growth. It's just a beautiful thing to see. And too, like, in seeing them, I feel like they did Tatum dirty when how quickly she lost the women's title. So I think they paid her back by having her win the North American title yesterday, and it was just a really cool thing to see.
Ariana Grace also recently became a Knockouts champion for her respective TNA brand. Very funny to see.
Yeah. We'll talk about this. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about TNA in a little bit. But again, they want to showcase her, and again, I think with the budget that TNA has, which is no budget pretty much, I think utilizing the WWE talent makes sense to me. But again, guys, if you didn't catch either show, again, Elimination Chamber was only 3 hours long. If you go through the 20 minutes of intros, you can get to it really quick. Definitely go check that out. Again, the women did ball out. I like you guys said. I loved seeing Raquel, how she was booked. Again, I didn't think she should win because I think the feud will be with her, Liv, and Roxanne eventually feuding over the women's world title. Kiana James, like you guys showcased out, but also NXT yesterday. It's only, I think, a 2 hours and 12 minutes. And again, lots of great action. And again, I love the, you go from a hardcore, or their version of a hardcore match. Again, Blake Monroe broke out some little plastic diamonds, and that's how Jada got taken out. She blew her face. It definitely wasn't the curtain call match with the Toni Storm at last year's Revolution, but definitely by far her best match. And like I said, Lola Vice was really good in those underground matches, and I think Kiana and Izzy did a really good job in that match as well. So definitely, if you don't usually watch NXT so far just as well, that'll be their last show on Peacock for the time being. So if you saw that Peacock subscription, definitely go check it out. You're gonna have to type it in because it's not easy to find anymore. There's no WWE thing to click on, so we'll see how that goes. Anyone else have anything pertaining to WWE before we move on?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so again, you guys, this is International Women's Day. It's for the United States, it's Women's History Month. And there was a lot of women's shows on this weekend. There was CMLL did La Noche de la Amazonias. It was the all women show, and then we had Eve shows, and there was Eve's show, Women Behaving Badly, and there was Wrestle Queendom. And again, we are the Wrestle Collective. And with being the collective, one of our collective members who lives on yonder was there today. And so we want to bring him on to the show right now. Hannibal, welcome to the show. Welcome to Queens Road. Interested, just give us your thoughts on the show. Also, I would love to hear from you after you give your experience of why it was important to you to go to the show today and to travel out there.
Well, thank you. Firstly, as part of the collective, I don't expect to kind of come on all the shows, but I'm delighted to come on here today and celebrate women, which is a wonderful thing to do. And yeah, it was my first Eve show, so that was exciting in itself. And I'll never ever go to another Eve show and stand up like I did for 4.5 hours. My God, I didn't think I was as old as I was until today. But yeah,
Nice.
I can't do that again. I mean, I'm glad I did it because I really wanted to see the show, and the venue was they said they got 1,200 people in there today, which was a sellout. And there's very limited seating, so yeah, it was disappointing that I couldn't get a seat, but I was glad to just be there. But the thing that I took away from the show is Eve has been something I've been keeping an eye on, but I haven't really been focusing on properly. And after experiencing the show today and how fun it was and everything, they've got a new customer. And the three of us, there was supposed to be four, but my friends couldn't make it, unfortunately. But we all left there today going, we need to go to more Eve shows. So that is what we're going to do. And that is a really good sign, I think. If you leave after seeing a wrestling show and you say, right, we need to do this again. We need to go to more of these shows. So it was fantastic in that regard.
So was this your first all women show you ever been to?
Yeah, it actually was. I've obviously gone to, well, not obviously, but I have gone to quite a few different independent companies in the UK, mainly Progress and Rev Pro over the years, and they do feature women's wrestling, but the same as any other wrestling company would do. So this was my first all women's show. And the other interesting things, if anyone's not watched Eve before, and I'm obviously sure there's going to be people that won't have seen Eve before, they also during the kind of the breaks, they don't really have proper breaks, but what they do is they have breaks every few matches, and they have actual burlesque performers come out and do a burlesque routine. And I think that just adds to the novelty, but also the fun that they have. I mean, the one thing about the all the performers on the show, and there were some that I were familiar with, and there were others that I wasn't so familiar with, is every match, everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves, and that again is such a great thing to see. They felt like a real community spirit. And the other thing as well, and although my daughter asked me this when I came in, she said, "Oh, was there a lot of women at the show?" And I was like, "Yes, there were, but not as many as I expected." I would say the split was probably about 70-30 men.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I was still quite surprised. Maybe just a little bit too high, but there were definitely a lot of men there. But the one thing about the crowd tonight, especially before the show started, and their MC is fantastic as well, and I've forgotten her name, which is terrible, but she was great. But she said before the show, we like to be inclusive, so we don't allow racism, we don't allow homophobia, we don't allow transphobia. And I said, to my daughter, that to be honest, the crowd that's going to go to a show like that probably isn't going to be doing those things anyway. But it was nice for it to be highlighted. But the crowd were one of the most respectful that I've seen. Whenever I've gone to a wrestling show before, you always get somebody that says something a bit off color about, especially women performers. And this wasn't the case today. So my whole experience of Eve today was completely positive. Yeah, it was just really good. And I just wanted to say, slightly off topic, but my daughter was talking to one of her friends yesterday about the wrestling I was going to see today, and he's just a WWE fan. And when she told him what it was and said it's an all women's show, he said to her, I don't really like the women's wrestling. I don't think they're as good as the male performers, and they're not as entertaining. And I wish I was there to have the conversation, because the one thing that you guys do on this show, and I hope we try and do as a wider collective, but especially this show, and especially the shows you're talking about tonight, there is so much women's wrestling out there, and if you're only watching women's wrestling in one company, you're not getting the whole spectrum of what is out there and how great these women were. Like, I've been to a lot of wrestling shows, and in terms of the in-ring action and the entertainment and everything like that, this is probably my top 3 shows I've ever got to. Like, I
Wow,
absolutely
that's awesome.
loved it. And again, as I said earlier, I am now going to go to more Eve shows. The regular location isn't as easy for me to go to as this one was today. It was at the O2 Indigo in London, but they're kind of like North London, West London based. But yeah, but we're going to make the effort, and we're going to go. And I'm not going to go to every show. They do normally one a month, but I would certainly say we'll probably try and go every other show or something like that. Like, we were all really buzzing from the experience today, and I know it kind of ties in with the day that it was International Women's Day, and that's obviously why I did it. But I had a new level of appreciation for the women wrestlers that we have. It's not that I've never, enjoyed them or been excited by them, but going to a show where there was a handful of men involved, like there was a couple of male referees, the MC was a woman, the burlesque performers as well, and then all the talent. Like, it just, yeah, it made me appreciate everything they do and the effort they put in, and yeah, absolutely converted.
What? So can you give a couple, like, what were some of your favorite matches that you saw tonight?
One of my favorite matches that I saw today, I can barely call a match because the match itself was very short, although the whole thing around it was quite long. And that was a match between Myra Blair, who is Michael Oku's partner, and Harley Cameron. And it's because, for the most part, it was like a singing performance. They both were singing and dancing, and they did have the match they were scheduled to have, but it turned into, even after that, like another kind of like sing song with the crowd and stuff. But I haven't laughed so much during a match as I did with that. And I know not everybody loves comedy in wrestling, but sometimes you just need to have that. And this was such a great example. And maybe it was more because I was there, but it was just so much fun to be involved in. But to be honest, I will call out the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong title match with Alex Kingston. No, Alex
Windsor.
How can I forget
Windsor.
that? Exactly.
Wow, you're now a
Oh
citizen
my
of the
God.
United States. Welcome aboard.
It's been a long day. But yeah, I mean, it was such an incredible match. Alex is so good, and I don't think she gets the credit that she deserves. But she is a fan. I've seen her a few times now, and every time she's impressed me. But that match by far was probably my favorite, all kind of like in ring. But also props to the main event. Session Moth Martina was challenging Rio for the Eve World title, and Session Moth Martina is somebody that I think I first saw about 6 or 7 years ago, and she's a great character wrestler. But this was her attempt at winning the world title. She was the underdog. She's never really been given the opportunity to kind of like, have that position on the card. And she grabbed it with both hands. And the match itself is slightly overbooked when you do kind of watch it. It reminds you of another quite famous title match from a few WrestleManias ago. That's all I'm going to say. But sometimes you just need something like that at a big event, and get everybody involved and happy. And yeah, one of the best live experiences I had was during that match as well, like for the entrances. But yeah, there wasn't really a bad match on the card. If I had one complaint, they had a match right at the beginning, and I can't remember what the match stipulation was, but basically There was 16 competitors. They came out Rumble style like every 90 seconds, but you could win by pinfall submission at any time. And I felt that you didn't really need to have that. It felt like there was too many people involved, and because of how they did eliminations, it was like over the top rope. I don't think there was an elimination until the 16th person came out, and so there was a lot of stuff going on that it was a bit hard to follow, and a lot of time of people just kind of like rolling out and just waiting by the side of the road. So that is literally the only negative I can say about the show. Track it down if you can. Absolutely worth your time, and pay attention to Eve. They've got a great roster. They bring great women in. It's a proud female first company. Obviously Will Ospreay's involved. He's a producer there for them, but new fans are made tonight, and I think the future's bright for them.
Thank you, man. Taylor and Sodo, do you guys want to give your comments about the show? I know you guys got to see it.
Yeah, I'll let Taylor go first.
No, I really, really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I personally, being a fan of Charlie and seeing her come back after a year, and Stat's mannerisms that entire match. Something big is gonna happen here with her soon.
And who's Charlie?
Formerly
The former
known as
Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai.
Thank you. Thanks.
that was when that match got announced. That was the one I was looking most forward to, was because I was obviously like a big fan of Dakota when she was in WWE. So seeing that, and I feel like she did very well for not having wrestled for a year. So she was pulling out moves. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? You just came back. But she was. That match was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what happens with Stat. She was real heel in that match. So I'm excited to see how that travels over to AEW and stuff this week, and with the pay-per-view and stuff next weekend. So I did enjoy the Harley Cameron stuff too. I thought that was hilarious. Anytime I get to watch Willow Nightingale wrestle is just a great time. Shuri and Alex was phenomenal. I unfortunately missed part of the main event because I was helping my mom clean the house. But from what I saw, it was really good, and I'm going to go back and watch it. And if you guys are looking for it and you have the money, Eve does have a subscription on their YouTube. It's $12.99 a month, I believe, and you get access to all of their even all their previous shows and stuff like that. So,
and you get two this month because they had a show on Friday as well as Wrestle Kingdom, so you kind of get double for your money, and it's non-committal. So if you just want to purchase it for this month and see these two events, you can cancel after as well.
But again, before we go to Sodo, I just want to point out again, all you Charlie shooters, and again, I like Dakota. Charlie now. I'm happy for her that she's going there. But again, put your money where your mouth is, right? All you who want to see her in AEW, who are mad that she's got released by WWE, go give Eve your $12.99. Go watch the show. Go give your money and say I'm doing this because I want to see Charlie wrestle. And if that's your voice, let your voice be heard with your dollar, and then maybe Tony will see that and go, shit. We'll tell Tony, hey, we got 500 people that signed up because they want to see Charlie, and that could push him to sign her. Again, this is where you need to show up for these women and show out. Please, if you have the $12.99 to give, go watch the show, go buy it, and let them know that you're there because you want to support Charlie.
That match was, for me, definitely worth the $12.99. Her and Stat, where it was great. And it felt like it was one of those where it could have gone either way. Charlie could have won the belt. But I do think, and hopefully, obviously, Tony definitely was watching. So I hope that he did see that and was like, I want to bring her in maybe for a Ring of Honor match or something like that, and see how the crowds also I'm sure the crowds would react well to her. She was very well liked when she was in WWE, I know. So I would like to see how a different crowd in the United States would react to her. Sorry, Soto, your turn.
No, you're okay. So Eve was one of my favorite promotions of last year. I think it's for people looking to find like all women's promotions. I think it's a great introduction to the English side of things. It is very English, and that's not a bad thing at all. I really like that. And with this show, and before Queendom, they had women behaving badly on the Friday, this past Friday. And if you watch one match from that show, you watch Jamie Hayter versus Miyu Yamashita. It's one of the stiffest women's matches that I have seen, like, of this decade. It was phenomenal, and I'm not being dramatic. That was amazing, and it's like on my list of matches of the year. I definitely would go out of your way to watch that. And with Queendom, to start off, I did Terry Funk myself a little bit. If you've been watching Queen's Road in the past, we talked about Yu's retirement and that show. She returned during the Sudden Death 16. Very jealous of Hannibal getting to see her. So, and that's a typical in Joshi fashion, is to, like Terry Funk, you retire 20 times. You come back. You are always in the wrestling space. And I think that's a really cool thing with Josh. As you can see here.
She did, to be fair, I did see on Twitter after the show, she said that she's still retired. She just couldn't turn down doing this match. So time will tell.
Like European match was actually at Eve at a prior show last year, and it was a big send off. So, but with the Joshis in retirement, they stay in wrestling. They do production, they book, they do commentary, they do a lot of things. Compared to some like American women, they get out of wrestling and they do something completely different, or they stay in it. And then I think probably my favorite, like, bar for bar, like just bell ring match is Windsor and Shuri. With Windsor, she's been getting increasingly impressive to me. So over the past year, she has come up short. She's lost against like big hitter opponents like Mercedes, Athena, Saray, Shuri, and she finally did it. This was probably the biggest win of Alex Windsor's career, and I was really happy to see her do that, and I hope she goes back to Japan, because like on past Queen's Road, I've mentioned she made her Stardom debut this year, and typically that belt is either defended on New Japan Strong shows, for those that don't know, or they take it to Stardom. So really excited to see what she does with that. And it's another new experience for me because I don't watch WWE, but I have seen Dakota Kai or Charlie wrestle in Japan in Shimmer, which is an all-American women's promotion. It's not around right now, but I would be amiss if I didn't mention Shimmer, because a lot of your favorite women's wrestlers have gone through Shimmer, and I wish we still had something like that, but it has been one of the most like influential women's products, especially in the like American scene, because in Japan it's a standard. They have men's companies, they have women's companies. Sometimes they collaborate, but it is separate over there, and that's not the norm in America. So it's really cool to see more and more as time goes on, these all women's shows. Overall, I think they had a mixture of everything. And that's one of my favorite things about Eve is they have the comedy bits, like with Amira and Harley Cameron, who are just so funny. I love I love those two. And then they have the graphs that you want to see, and the storytelling. If you like storytelling and you're like used to that sort of like the WWE, NXT, TNA, that style, I think Eve is a great introduction to that, because they do video packages and they tell real stories. And I was telling Hannibal this earlier. There's a lot of and that's why I watch from all different cultures, like Japan, Mexico, Europe, the English. It's very English, and it's really fun to see, because I don't often we get so used to, as Americans, America, we're in a bubble. So I always suggest branching out there. So yeah, I really loved this show.
Debbie, you didn't see the show, right? Not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right.
I would also myself, I would stand 4 hours for Charlie. That's something I
absolutely.
do.
I mean, I think I still, yeah. Hannibal, do they serve beans at the concession stand? That's Americans are dying to know.
I mean, it's the
You know, there was.
as a man.
I don't think there was any food available in there
Oh,
at
wow.
all. Just
So they're like Ring of Honor style. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But and also, just before I go, because obviously I want to, let you get back to your regularly scheduled programming. But I just wanted to show this off as well, which I'm doing very badly here. But I bumped into our friend Lucy, who we just had on
Nice.
the Wrestle Collective Weekly podcast a few days ago. She was going today, so we met up before we went into the show, and got to speak for a few minutes. And she is obviously just as lovely as you would, we've seen her on our podcast. But yeah, she made me this little Wrestle Collective bracelet. It's a one of one for now.
Why
Nice.
don't you
But she
try
wants to make them.
removing it, Hannibal, and holding it to the camera?
That is probably a better idea, isn't it? But
So
she did say,
yeah.
she did say she wanted to. She was willing to make them for all the collective if they
Nice.
wanted them. So
that's so
yeah, she's very
sweet.
very
Yeah, that's
kind of her
cute.
to do. But yeah, so she was a delight and very appreciative of this. And I'm glad I'm the first member of the collective. It's the first time I'm going to have one up on the collective, so I'm proud of that. But
So whenever we have our first collective meetup, Dev will be challenging you for that bracelet on the full match. Will be happening.
Well,
But,
I'm gonna want it to be a 3-way, so someone else has got to be in the match.
Oh, P3, yeah, there's someone else in there too. Yeah.
there's only
I know,
one
yeah.
way to do things. But no, thank you so much for letting me come on and sharing my experience of Eve
Before
today.
I let you go, Hannibal, just one more question real quick. So who's a wrestler that you didn't have your eye on before that you think everybody should be watching? Like, go follow, watch their show, go watch their independent matches. Like, give us one from the show that people need to be following now.
I mean, it's going to be biased, but I think this is going to be Session Moff Martinez's year. Now she's won the title. I think she is going to be one to watch. She has appeared in Ring of Honor before, and she has appeared on AEW once before as well. If I remember correctly, she actually signed with Ring of Honor just as the pandemic hit, and so obviously she never got to actually perform. But she's a great talent. She's a great comedy wrestler. She's a good wrestler. But she's someone that I think people have slept on, and I think now that she's got the focus on her, I think it's going to be her year. And also Amira Blair. And I'm going to say something very, very controversial, which people are not going to like, but I'm going to do it anyway. Her partner Michael Oku has had a few matches again with Ring of Honor, AEW, and I think he might be signed, or he certainly looks like he's going to be signed. But he's a great wrestler, but he does not have the character work and charisma that Amira Blair is. So if they only could sign one, Amira is the one I'd go with. But if they're going to sign Oku, they've got to bring her along for the ride, because she, for me, is so talented. And I would argue I'd prefer to see on my television more than Michael Oku. So that might upset some people. But
Hannibal exiting with the hot take. I love it. Well, again, thank you for being here with us. Thank you again. I'm so happy again that you went out and got that experience, and they've made a fan of you. And we'll look forward to having you on the next time they're in town.
Thank you, man. Support women's wrestling, everybody. Support women and their rights. Yeah, behave yourselves.
Before you go, read off your t-shirt real quick. What's your shirt saying?
Oh yeah, so it's pro-feminist, pro-choice, pro-immigration, pro-trans rights, pro-neurodiversity, and then finally pro-wrestling, because of course that's what you got to do as well. And the funniest thing was when I showed my daughter this t-shirt when I got it yesterday, she said, "No, I'm surprised you haven't got anti-Trump on there." And I went, I think the t-shirt speaks for itself.
Yeah, ding ding, winner, chicken dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate your time always, my friend.
I can't stand that guy.
God, thank God that guy left. That's what he actually did himself on every show, huh? Had to go to each show just so he could come on Queens Road.
Oh man, another addition.
On himself over
What a mark.
women's history.
What a mark.
That's crazy.
Anyway, no, Hannibal, again, great addition to the collective. I love when he gets to go. Like, I love, again, we're all jealous he got to go to that show. But again, I think wrestling's best when it's shared. I love hearing international shows. Again, I want to shout out Tony Khan for again what people think say about Tony, yeah, we need to get more women's matches on shows. But like I will keep saying this. Tony Khan is funding women's wrestling. Like for the amount of people he's giving contracts, giving them money, changing money, allowing them to do this for a living, allowing the talent to go over there and wrestle today. And also what we're going to get into CMLL. Again, yeah, we need to get more women on the show, but at the same time, it cannot be overlooked the amount of women that he's given life changing money to, and allow them to go do their art all around the world. So back on the topic of all women's shows, this past Friday, CMLL had a show again, La Noche, and again, third generation Hispanic guy, so again, forgive me. So again, La Noche de las Amazonias, again, it's an all women's show. It was highlighted by the main event of Persephone and Mercedes. Also, you had Olympia fighting Mega Main. Lots of women in the show. Again, I literally, like I say, people, and I practice what I preach. You can miss an episode of SmackDown, even though there was a world title match on the show. For the sake of what we do. Again, I do lots of different shows. I had SmackDown on in the background, but as soon as I got home, I was definitely watching the show. It was a lot of fun. To me, it showcases what true partnerships are. As far as you had the women from Stardom there as well. You had all the different people on there as well. Again, the main event was Persephone defeating Mercedes Moné for the CMLL Women's Championship, and what was a great match. The thing that I loved about this show, and it can kind of echo what Hannibal was talking about. The energy was there for the whole crowd. The crowd was there just like it was a regular Friday night in CMLL. The crowd was electric. I mean, Persephone's family was there. The way Mercedes came out again, just a really fun match. And the thing I love too is that you had CMLL letting two AEW women go over in the final three matches before Mercedes did the honors. Again, you don't see that in a lot of promotions, so I just want to shout them out for not being afraid to let their partner in AEW get win again. They won 2 out of 3 matches. Again, just a great showcase for women's wrestling. Mercedes needs to be, again, for doing what she's doing what she said she wanted to do, and that was elevate women's wrestling around the world. A great show. Dev, what were your thoughts on the show?
It was brilliantly booked. They had a 3-way with like 3 luchador veterans.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the smartest things I've seen like this month. Great way to showcase women's wrestling in 3 ways. And the whole card was really fun. All the matches were super fast paced. The work rate on all the contenders and talents was it was a marvel. And I'm excited for Olympia to take up the mantle for the company, seeing, Penelope Persephone is going to move on, into another title scene on Dynamite, I'm sure. And I'm just looking forward to seeing Olympia, her match with Bane, and just the thought of her being paired with more stiff workers is really exciting to think about. So the torch being passed to Olympia, I'm excited for. Mercedes is the best in the world. It's a good show. Oh, and I like Starlight Kid. Also, she's really cool.
Soto.
So, part of me, I might get a little emotional. So, as people know, I've been watching CMLL it's like pretty much my whole life. I grew up loving it, and it hasn't always been like it's been very male focused, but seeing like the progress made and like there's a lot of camaraderie this night was a really really good feeling. And I will say this about all these shows, this top to bottom, this card was great. You had Kara and Gara Negra. This was their debut. This show was their debut, and I'm like, you couldn't do any better than that. And like the match was great. Mina Shirakawa versus Zeuxis. Mina has the ability to pretty much get anybody on her side. Like usually in CMLL, the foreigners are the Rudos. they're you go to they're more natural. The Mexicans are more naturally to be cheered for by the Mexican crowd. This Mexico City crowd. This is, like Carlos said, typical Friday night for CMLL. Very loud, very into all the matches, and the way Mina Shirakawa was able to get the crowd on her side is like just marvelous to see. Obviously, the most me-core match on this card was Megan Main versus Olympia, and as I've talked about in previous Queens Road, I'll gas up Olympia as much as I can. She recently obviously came back from Japan, and I think she is one of their top stars, and I wouldn't doubt that she might get a double contract with AEW because she has also shown up in AEW. So I'm really excited to see that. And like you mentioned, the partnership with AEW, CMLL also partners with Stardom, and they've partnered with Tokyo Joshi Pro in the past. So like I think there's a lot of like care that goes into these things, and they're wanting to branch out more. And Major League, Shoko Nakajima, she had the Major League Championship, like the featherweight championship, which is their women's title, and brought it to CMLL. So I love that CMLL is open to having all sorts of promotions, and that is what I want to see with like international partnerships. And then of course, Persephone and Mercedes. Persephone has been working for this for so long, 2 years at this point. They've been building her up, and their last match that they had, I really thought that Persephone was going to win because the way that they worked the crowd, Mercedes doing some of the best heel work that I have ever seen in both of these matches. And you can tell they kind of mirrored their last match on that last all women's show. And it was beautiful. The way Mercedes like plays with these crowds, and this was Mercedes' first match back after being out for a couple of months, and she was still at the top of her game while also kind of you can tell that she's faltering a little bit. She is going to be losing these belts, and like I was saying this the other night, and this is not a bad thing. She disrespected the art of lucha libre. She came in with a mask and was poking fun at it and was playing around and just being disrespectful. And that is what I want to see from like a foreign, like not always, but that is what I want to see from a foreign heel to come in and just kill everything. But overall, and I think this would be like with the partnerships, it introduces people to other things. Like Dev mentioned, he really likes Starlight Kid, and I'm a big Starlight Kid fan. And Neo Genesis, that faction is just amazing. If you haven't also already seen, so with CMLL, they do other shows, of course. Recently, Micah and Neo Genesis had a match, a trios match. I don't know if trios matches are in Dev's wheelhouse, like for the 3-ways, but I definitely go out of your way to watch that. That is free on YouTube. The Guadalajara show, they uploaded that. But overall, like I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride because in Latin communities, our women are often our most supportive and are the backbone of our families. So seeing all these women come together to put a top to bottom like great show, it makes me feel really proud. So definitely go out of your way to watch it.
Oh my goodness.
Taylor, you're up. That cleanup, the woman of the show.
Sorry, I was like dying a second ago. Oh my god. No, so this was my first the all women's CMLL show. So I enjoyed being able to watch it with a lot of people in the collective, especially Sodo, who does watch CMLL on the regular. So obviously my favorite match of the night was Mercedes and Persephone. Anyone who says that Mercedes Moné refuses to put people over lives under a rock. Or is just a hater, one of the two. I don't know what to tell you guys. And it's so clear in like her face. Like, yeah, she's trying to look like she's mad that she lost, or she's like upset that she lost. but she's very hard at hiding how happy she is for the people that she's losing to. So this is something that that's what she wants to do. She wants to put these people over. She wants to put women's wrestling on the map, and like that's what she's been doing. So just seeing everything, like all the matches were fucking crazy. Like they were just so good. And like Soto said too, Mina being able to get any crowd behind her is crazy. Like it's just the aura that she has. She's just so likable. So I had a good time. I'm excited I'm gonna have to find links to watch it because I can't afford the YouTube membership, but I will be watching more.
And something you mentioned about Mercedes not being able to hide it, if with the Persephone match in particular, she looked like she was about to cry. Like you can just tell how much that this meant to Mercedes, and like she kept up that act all the way to walking out, because she also had Megan Bain as her second, and she like carried her out. And something also to mention after the show, obviously the celebration, it was just really a beautiful scene to see all of the women celebrate in the ring together.
Was
Yeah,
the
you
main
know,
event everybody's match of the night?
I don't know, man.
Yes.
Megan Bain and Olympia was also just.
I'd probably say Megan Bain and Olympia, like belt
I think
for belt,
yeah,
but like
But I
the
think
main
that
event.
that's a good one.
the story behind, Persephone finally getting her win and winning the belt off Mercedes, I think, does make it match of the night for me.
Yeah, I mean, I like a good meat match. So I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Olympia and Megan Bain because again, I like men or women both. I like a good meat match and just seeing them fucking go at it and kick ass. And like, whereas
Me
like we're
too.
saying, where Megan Bain doesn't have to do this. Like she doesn't have to go and wrestle around the world, and she does. And just because you can tell she loves wrestling. So again, and her time's coming in AEW. Like that was probably my favorite because I knew it was gonna happen in the main event. And I guess too because I knew it wasn't a great match. Olympia and Megan Bain surprised me, so I'm gonna go with that.
With Megan Bain, she every show she goes to, whether it be GCW, whether it be a Stardom show, CMLL, AEW, any of these independents she does, she gives 100% every single time that she wrestles. It doesn't matter how big or small this is. And the way, like, I think this goes for all wrestlers, especially the ones like they showed up on Collision the next night. Megan Bain and Mina, they showed up next night and wrestled with one another. And like they don't have to do that. They just they care so much about this. And I think that kind of gets glossed over a little bit. Is like
And,
you don't have to.
and I wanted to shout this out too. I forget what it was for, but there was someone who was in the independent wrestling world who passed away, and they were doing I think they maybe had cancer. I forget who it was. It was a wrestler or someone. I forget who it was. But there was a fundraiser on Whatnot, and one of the people that donated that to was Megan Bain. She donated her headdress to that cause. It was a friend of Brody Keene's. Like it was Cody Rhodes. So again, those are the things that we need to shout out to. Just her giving that, wanting to help out people. Because again, you see the character she plays on TV, but you can just tell in person she has a heart of gold. And I would want to shout out wrestlers helping each other and giving back. Again, guys, before we get to the main event of the show tonight, we want to go. I know Soto wanted to talk about some other independent wrestling promotions. So Soto, take it away.
All right, so the first one I'd probably start off with, which would be a little more accessible to the American audience, is Metroplex Pro. They did their We Won the World, Girls We Run the World show, also on Friday. And Athena is a part of that, and that is like, these shows are like her love child, and I can't recommend this enough because it also feels like camaraderie. They're all coming together, and they care so much about this thing. And like Carlos had mentioned, you see these personas, but with like Megan Bain's and also Athena's, she plays like a dastardly heel on Ring of Honor, but like she is so passionate about this thing. So I would definitely go out of your way. Metroplex has a Twitch channel that you can subscribe to, which is where they air their shows at. I am unsure of how much it costs because I use my friend's account, but like I definitely, if you're interested in that with names you be familiar with, Emi Sakura was on the show, Vert Vixen was on the show, Shayna Baszler made an appearance to Metroplex and caused some trouble. So I definitely go out of your way to watch that. And then Stardom, they had their Supreme Fight pay-per-view, and just a couple of matches I wanted to highlight on there. Maki Ito versus Aya Sakura. I mentioned this on a previous Queen's Road. This is her singles debut in Stardom, and if you know Maki Ito, she very comedic wrestler. But this stood out to me because while there was some comedic elements, she really this is some grabs. This is very good. Starlight Kid versus Saya Kamatani, which was the main event. Those may be two names that people who maybe don't watch Stardom, but like the general wrestling world may be familiar with. Um, both of their performances were great. Sai Kamatani had been out for a month, and she came back, and I can't get the image of Sai Kamatani breaking her finger and putting it back into place with the doctors and wrestling after that. Like, that was amazing. And then Rina versus Fuwa-chan. Fuwa-chan is a like an influencer, comedian, act that kind of world turned wrestler, and I wasn't sure what to expect from her, but she really she is one to watch. I truly believe that she is one to watch. And then recently with Stardom is their Cinderella tournament. The semifinals are March 11th. It's a bit of a confusing tournament to get into right off the bat, but it's a great introduction to a lot of the Stardom wrestlers. It's single elimination, or there can be double eliminations in some matches with the rules that they have. But I definitely check that out because it's been a very strong tournament. And then I think the match from that so far I would highlight is Hina versus Azusa Iniba. She shows out in every single tournament that Stardom has, but like I'd really probably highlight that. And then Tokyo Joshi Pro. I sing their praises all the time. Their Grand Princess, which is their biggest show of the year, is coming up. There are some familiar names on that show for y'all, like Konosuke Takeshita. I know I'm sorry I'm bringing up a man, but he's teaming with his wife, Yuka Sakazaki. Miyu Watanabe is going to be on there. It should be a very, very good show all around. So that's like one of their biggest shows of the year. And then with Tokyo Joshi, they're also coming to America. So this is accessible to a lot of you. If you live in Texas, they're doing a couple. They recently announced their cards. Possibly some of our fellow collective members may be there. Grumpy and Jordan. I don't know if it's official, but they live close. So I
Well, they're going
that.
now. We're forcing them.
Yeah, we're forcing them now. I know Grumpy was really right up Grumpy's
Surprise!
alley, so I was really excited to suggest this to them. Whenever, so a bunch of stuff. Actually, I just remembered this. Stardom and Tokyo Joshi and Marvelous, and I believe Sendai might be sending some people. Is announced for Mania weekend. The Joshis they love coming to America. If you don't keep up with it, they're just so fun about it. They're like, oh, I went to Buc-ee's or I went to this place. They always share so much love for the culture. I think it is only due for us to do that back by you watching their shows and learning. Sometimes there are different cultural things in the wrestling itself that you see. So learning about that is one of the most like fun things about professional wrestling. And also, I always sing her praises because I think she's the best. This is the last thing. Chihiro Hashimoto. She is the best woman like on the planet right now, or like one of the best women on the planet. She recently wrestled this past weekend, and the highlight. This felt like a woman's WrestleMania weekend. Like, this was amazing. It's cool how this all lined up. She wrestled in WXW, which is a promotion in Germany, in their 16 karat gold tournament, and she faced men. There's a couple women there, but she faced men as well, which I think, this is something new. You don't often get like maybe a woman here and there, but like in these tournaments that you think of, the men, it was really cool to see her doing that. And she did step out of her comfort zone for one of them. She's usually the bigger girl. She faced Thomas Shire, who's huge. I definitely go check out her match with Kanji. And then today, she faced Danny Luna today. I finished that up right before we caught on here. And I'll also sing Danny Luna's praises. She's so good, and I want her to get a big contract one day because she's one of the best independent wrestlers going right now. So if you haven't seen anything that she's done, I definitely check it out. And like I mentioned you earlier, her former tag team partner in Team 200 KG, so you can get a mix of both of them, an introduction to both of them. So
And to kind
thank
of
you for allowing me this time.
Yeah, segue for Sodo really quick because I want to give them some quick love before I move to the main thing. TNA Wrestling, they do have Danny Luna there. Great place to go catch her wrestle every week. Again, show TNA some love. Again, they got a nice contract. They're being featured on AMC. They do a good job of shining out the women's wrestling. Currently, they're paying homage to to ODB, to Nikki James as well. If you don't usually watch it, one match I want to suggest out to you to watch was last month. They did a mixed tag match with Elias with Jada Stone versus Order 4. Really fun match. Really great way to showcase women with the mixed tag as well. Again, please support TNA. Go support them as well. Deb, do you have something to add about TNA really quick?
Keep your eye on the Elegance brand. They're great. They're gonna break out. They're gonna collect belts.
Yep. Taylor, do you
They're
have
gonna
anything for
retire Mickey
TNA?
James too.
No, I have more stuff for AEW than anything. So
Okay. If we have time, we'll get to that, guys, because again, we're kind of running long. Go ahead. So,
I like that you mentioned Jada Stone. She's one of my favorite younger women right now.
Oh, yeah.
I've watched her wrestle in DPW and in Japan. A little green, but I think she's improving every time that she goes out there. So I really like that you mentioned her.
Thank you, Taylor. Go for AEW really quick.
Okay, so obviously we have a new AEW Women's World Champion. Tekla beat Chris Statlander in a strap match, and they set up the Revolution rematch, which is going to be 2 out of 3 falls. We're getting Marina Shafir and Toni Storm at Revolution as well. The Inspiration made their debut. They did lose, but it's okay. A lot of people, when they first come in, take losses, and down the line, we may see them, rack up their wins. And then I just want to shout out Penelope Ford, unfortunately sidelined with an ankle injury right now. I also, along with that, just want to say, if y'all were, not that I think anybody in this space is, but if y'all are one of the people that bullied Harley Cameron off of Twitter, I have not nice things to say to you. And then obviously we have Thunder Rosa came back and had a AEW Women's World Championship match against Tekla. Was that last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
That's my AEW spiel.
It was
And really quick, guys,
good.
We showcase AEW all the time, and so I think it's kind of funny that we're going to probably get the least amount of time to it today. It's kind of again kismet sometimes. Again, it is what it is. But just really quick to what Taylor said, I've done my 2 cents really quick. Comedy does belong in wrestling. To what Hannibal was saying earlier, I love that he said that too. The comedy part of that Eve show was the best thing that he enjoyed. Comedy wrestling belongs in wrestling. Comedy belongs in wrestling. Having the Inspiration do what they did, if you weren't a fan of them, that the Iconics were a comedy act as well. It's a great way to get people on television. It can get people over in a 2-minute match. Again, what they did for the Brawling Bird was amazing, making them look so strong. Comedy belongs in wrestling. Again, they're making, I think Sean Ross says it probably 4 times what they made in TNA. They're happy. They're being utilized. And if you're upset with that, I promise you they will be the AEW World Tag Team Champions sooner or later.
We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this, Carlos, when they become champions.
Absolutely, we will. We will come back to this. Yeah, bookmark this. So earlier today, and this is the main event of the show, because again, if you guys are paying attention to this panel, there's 3 guys, one lady on this show. And the thing I want to just point out to people, and to get something across on International Women's Day, is that women are role models for men too. Again, I know a lot of men for their moms, but I think so much is when we look at role models, it's always showcasing the men. So today I asked the panel to come up with their Mount Rushmore of women that inspire them. But with that, earlier today I put a question on X and I said, who's a female wrestler who's inspired you? How do they inspire you? And one person who's been a big supporter of the collective is Khalid, and he put a really nice thing out about Lyra Valkyria and how she inspires him, and we just wanted to invite him on here because I was so touched by his answer, so I wanted to give him the opportunity to come here and say it himself. So Khalid, welcome to Queens Road, and if you want to go and give Lyra her flowers, please go ahead.
It's so weird that I've been hanging out with y'all for almost a year, and now I finally get the chance to be on a collective panel. It's so strange, isn't it? But hold on, if I can find. No, what were we gonna say?
No, but again, it's but just reading it. But again, sometimes it's things that happen. Again, it wasn't something that was planned, but you kind of understood the assignment when I put out the post, and I was really touched by your answer because that's what it's about. So that's why you're here, man. Again, just sometimes things happen and things are meant to be.
Oh yeah, so there's the post right there. Lyra Victoria over the last year has taught me to embrace the weird parts of myself, as that's what makes me who I am. She embraced her bird lady persona and went on to become the first women's intercontinental champion, had the WWE Feud of the Year with Becky Lynch, and still continues to be beloved by her fans. If she can do it, all of us weirdos can do it too. I don't see any lies here. I think I said it pretty accurately, and this came in response because I remembered about shortly after SummerSlam, after that unfortunately mediocre match with Becky Lynch, where there were so many mistakes. That wasn't even Lyra's fault. She was getting bashed on X like crazy, and I was like, I'm not Lyra Valkyria, and even I am getting upset by all this. So I'm always up for defending her because I genuinely think bell to bell she is like top 3 in WWE right now. It's like between her, Bailey, and Io Sky, and it's like it's not even close. Maybe Rhea Ripley has something to say about that, but like Lyra Valkyria is very underutilized, and I think there is a lot of potential with her that the WWE does not see. And I think if they saw it, then they would finally realize that, oh, we got a big star on our hands. So I just had to put that out there. It's something that I will say about Lyra Valkyria until the day she retires. So yeah, I love her to death.
Yeah, and again, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing that. Before I let you go, and again, I do think they have her, but I think they just think they can. We'll just cook her again when we need her. I think her time is coming. Before I let you go, I'm going to ask you, what does women wrestling mean to you, and how is it important to you in your wrestling fandom?
It's very important to me in the sense that it gives me a lot of variety because one thing I don't like in any medium, whether it's wrestling, movies, music, even stand-up comedy, is staleness. Like if you repeat the same things, it's gonna get old very fast. And even when it comes to women's wrestling, yes, there have been times where it becomes repetitive, but most of the time these girls always find a way to innovate and push the business even further. I know obvious example, but you look at someone like Mariah May and Tony Storm and how they really pushed through and really elevated AEW's women's roster to say like this is what we did. Think you could top it, or think you could even match it? So and like I said earlier with Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch, it's like no feud in WWE last year even came close to that as and not even just regarding women but regarding men. So and especially in the ropes, it's like we can I mean Soto was here. I mean Soto is here, and she mentioned off so many different women and so many different promotions that are constantly doing amazing things in the ring, outside the ring, and it's just women are there to just give a lot of variety and just to show that this isn't just a men's game. So that's what I love about it.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna let you go. Again, want to thank you for coming on here and sharing that with us. Again, when what you said really touched my heart. I hope Lyra sees it when Lyra sees it because again, women deserve to have their fans like you. And again, thank you for the words because again, it hit for what this is about. Again, happy International Women's Day, and we'll catch you later, man. Thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I hope I get to be on more Wrestle Collective panels in the future because it's literally 1:16 a.m. and I stayed up for this and I wouldn't have it any other way. So shout out Carlos, thanks for having me on. Tay, Dev, Soto. Every time I get to talk to you guys, it's always a pleasure. You make being a wrestling fan on social media, which is a very toxic place to be a wrestling fan, you may get a better experience from me. So thank you.
Thank you for the words, man. Have a good night. Good night, man. Get some
Thank
sleep.
you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So you're up. So who was a woman
All
that
right.
inspires you and why? You're starting us off.
So we're giving 4, correct?
Mount Rushmore. Yep. Or Mount
Okay,
Rushmore. Yep.
alrighty. All right, I'd like to start with Nyla Rose, my fellow trans sister. She, throughout everything, I think it's hard being a woman in wrestling, but it is especially hard being a trans woman in wrestling, especially in the like society that we're in currently, especially in America. But she's pushed through all of that. And especially playing a heel. She has played a heel on television, and it has been nothing short of inspiring to see her. I can't help but feel like so much joy seeing, a trans woman get the success that she has, and like, do I wish that she was utilized more currently? Yes, absolutely, because she has so much to offer, so much passion there. But like, I can't help but like feel overwhelmed with like just emotion when I think about her and how she's inspired me.
Great
And
answer.
the next is Big
Well,
Hosh.
we're gonna go. Are we gonna? Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry.
Are we doing? Yeah. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Big Hosh. So oftentimes the bigger women are like positioned in such like weird ways in certain companies, but again, she is powered through that. She is one of the most powerful women that we have today, and like every time that she goes out there, she doesn't miss. And I think that takes a certain amount of focus, like a scary amount of not missing. Like it it is scary, like, how talented that she is, and, like, I can't recommend her enough. Like, if I had to say, like, one of the, like, gateways into Joshi wrestling currently, it would be her. Like, every single company that she goes to, she just shows out, and, like, her versatility, and obviously, as a bigger woman, she is, like, positioned in similar spots every time, 'cause a lot of people are a lot of the girls are smaller than her, but like I said recently earlier, she faced someone bigger, and she had to, adapt her style. So, like, I love her so much.
And who was
And
next?
then, number 3 would be Athena, and I'm gonna combine the next 2, but we'll show Athena first. She God, I can't say enough good things about Athena because she often gets overlooked in these types of conversations and kind of goes on the back burner a little bit. She works in silence. She supports all these other young talents in a lot of silence and doesn't often command this, you know, attention to herself, but she focuses that attention on people like Billy Starks and people like Maya World, and she is like helping nurture the next generation of women, to be powerful, to command this respect, to take what they want. And and her work with Metroplex is amazing, and she's done so much for not only there but for Ring of Honor as well. And that kind of goes into my next one a little bit, is Mercedes Moné. I I can't help but feel emotional when I think about Mercedes Moné. Is she's had to power through so much shit through the years. Like, I don't know if a lot of these women get a lot of backlash online, because as we move forward as wrestling fans, the online space becomes like inevitable. Like, we can't avoid it. We can't not pay attention to it. But she, with the amount of shit that she gets, just powers through it, and is one of the most passionate people about nurturing the next generation, even at her age, and she's in her early 30s. Mercedes Moné has so much left to do. It is it is insane to see with what she has already done for WWE, for AEW, for independent promotions. Like, she goes just like the others I mentioned, because she goes around and she doesn't miss. And it is pretty scary what to expect from her in the upcoming years. And like, she is someone like Athena, I can imagine branching out soon and like maybe doing her own promotion, maybe her doing her own thing, and like helping those up and coming people. She may do it in a heelless fashion, but she does it right. And I may not have been a big WWE fan, but I've seen stuff from her, and like I'm like I knew this one, like she has it. She has what it takes, and like it also takes a lot of balls to do what she did. Her and Naomi, it takes a lot of balls to do what they did, walking out of a place like that, and I think like permanently changing the landscape of professional wrestling is what they did.
Well said.
Also,
Who was you?
shout out to Naomi.
Who was the one more you want to sneak in? Sneak it in real quick.
Daphne. Again, somebody I can't help but think of and get emotional about. I wish she was here to see the progress that women's wrestling has made. We don't often think of a lot of TNA people and like Ring of Honor people, but she came up in a time where women's wrestling wasn't much of a focus, or it was just a few people, and she clearly cared about this so much. And I can't help but the alt girlies, love the alt girlies. She was just so cool and cared so much, and it is a shame what happened to her. And I can't advocate for like taking, especially for women, taking care of your mental health, and because it's really difficult. I can't imagine. I'm not a woman, so I can't imagine. Not even just for the wrestlers themselves, but the fans as well. I can't imagine what going through that sort of thing is like. And like, I wish Daphne were here to see, because like I can imagine her in like AW, and I can imagine her working with like Metroplex and branching out maybe even some more. I think she'd be really happy to see where we are at today.
Yeah, rest in peace, Daphne. Great little addition there. The wrestling business is better for having her in it. Thank you, Sodo. Again, great Mount Rushmore. Yeah, I would have had but we will have one that's a mutual one. Yeah, I'm glad you shouted out those wonderful talents. Deb, go ahead.
First is Trish Stratus. She's the GOAT. However important you think she is, double that. She's a trailblazer, and she's aged really well, like work rate wise, So I'm always excited to see her. I wouldn't mind her getting pushed more often. She always says how much she wants to keep doing this. She always mentions she always advocates for herself to like be in programs. So I think she should be in more programs, like your Nikki Bellas and your AJ Lee's. Second is Bianca Belair. She got me back into wrestling, watching wrestling regularly, being the first, knowing that Black women were headlining WrestleMania for the first time ever got me watching the product again. She's important. She's athletic. Her matches are great. Her character is fun, and she's an inspiration. Third, Asuka, just for being, she's cool. She looks cool. She has fun. She makes wrestling fun, and she's so legit, like down to her style. I like her style, and she's also a trailblazer. You know, bring that foreign style to the WWE successfully and organically. And lastly, Graps, please help me out. Thank you, Tony Storm. She timeless. She's she was already great as that punk rock type of character. Like that that was already something that was very, it was special. And then she really knocked it out of the park with the timeless gimmick. I never get tired of her. And knowing she's back on the chase, she made the whole company so important. She makes it must see.
Well said. Again, someone who reinvented herself, and again went from taking pies in the face to being one of the top ladies in AEW. Again, great shout out, great list. Taylor, you're next.
Okay. So my first one is Charlotte Flair. She is one of the main reasons about why I still watch WWE to this day. Oh God, I might cry before this whole thing's over because of the other three. She's always been a very big advocate for like women's like body positivity, and as someone who struggles with like my body and like how the way I look and stuff like that, she's always been somebody who is very like, she's just very body positive. She's so like she's always uplifting her fellow locker room members. Like you can tell she is a girl's girl to the end, and I don't care what people have to say. Like she is one of the best women's wrestlers of the modern era. My second one is Mercedes. The literal definition of follow your dreams because it will end well. She walked out from somewhere she felt disrespected and now made a name for herself as one of the most, highest paid women's wrestler in the world. And obviously just to see her and what she's done is great. Number 3, she's not an active wrestler anymore, but Carmella. This is another one. I've always had a very big and like very close relationship with her. From about late 2017, early 2018, she was the first ever women's Money in the Bank winner. She very reliable. Whenever they needed someone, whenever someone got hurt, she was the one to step up and say, I'll do this, I'll do whatever. She also just makes, for me specifically, when I met her the first time, she knew exactly who I was. She ran up to me. She said, oh my God, Taylor, I can't believe I finally saw you in person. And I was like, oh my God, you know who I am? Like she's great. I feel like her presence is very much missed. And I love seeing her thrive as mom. And last but not least, my dear friend, Sky Blue. Watching her grow these last couple years has been so wonderful from her, like, and seeing her even come back from her injury. You can tell obviously like she is probably taking things a little easier because she is coming back off a pretty serious injury. But seeing her grow and seeing just how loved she is, even as, the heel character that she is now, is so great. And it makes me happy to see, like, to call her my favorite wrestler, but it also like to call her my friend. Like, she's wonderful. I'm so sorry for crying. Oh my God.
You're okay.
No, I mean, the thing is, like, the crying, like, you, like, why you're emotional is why it's important. That's why we need to advocate more for women's wrestling. That's why we need these women on here again. Like, that's why people need to understand why Carmella, why Charlotte Flair, why Sky Blue, like, why the importance of women, like, they've seen things, the whole, like what you said about the body thing. That's something I go through too, and it's one of the people I'll be talking about too. My fourth day too. It's like I go through the same thing. Like, women are just role models for everybody, men or women, doesn't matter. Like, there's a lot of gooners, let's be honest, and in wrestling, again, being at the Ring of Honor show and seeing guys leave, after Nina wrestled, because they're just there because they want to see a pretty, because they think she's hot, like, talking about these things showcases why it's more important and why, women's wrestling to be more of an advocate. Even I love what Hannibal said about Timeless Tony Storm. Like, Tony Storm is proof that if you believe in the gimmick, you can make it work. Believing in yourself. Like, just really, really, really great words. Like, I love what he said about that. Again, all you guys, thank you for sharing those. Again, you all would have had some that I shared. Again, I thought out of the box a little bit, but not obviously, because again, I had two that repeated. But my list starts with China, the ninth wonder of the world. Again, someone at a time being body positive. I remember people used to think that she was trans. What's this guy doing here? And just the bullying that she had to go through, the negativity, and for her to just come out and to make a body positive, being featured in Playboy. I'm somebody who's pro, pro those kinds of things. Again, if you want to go do an OnlyFans, if you want to go do porn, like as long as you're not, you're doing your own thing, like go get that bag. I think that she showcased being body positive, being breaking the stereotype of what could be beautiful, what could be sexy. Going out there, she felt she needed to get back surgery. I'm for that. If getting a boob job makes you feel better about yourself, getting your nose done makes you feel better. Like I'm an advocate for that. Like whatever it takes to make you feel like you are your true self and make you feel like what you want to see in the mirror. I think that's a beautiful thing, and that's why it's important for me to have China on my list. My next is Trish Stratus. Again, a trailblazer, but for me, somebody who was chosen by WWE just based on a model search, and somebody who went there, wasn't afraid to try new things, wasn't afraid to take bumps, wasn't afraid to go out there and get dirty with the boys, like somebody who advocated more, who fought hard to get what she wanted, was used her beauty to advocate for other women, to get more time for women. Like what Deb said too, so I'm somebody in my 40s now. She's somebody who tells me just because you're in your 40s doesn't mean that you can't still do things. And she's out there being a positive role model for people who are older, showing that age, that beauty is timeless. Showing that you can still go out there and you matter. Again, just a positive person for me that just shows like don't let people's limitations put limitations on you. You can go and you can break through those barriers and break those walls down. My next one was Nyla Rose. Just for what Soto was talking about earlier, for representation of somebody who's been called a fag, who's been called mean things, to go on public television and know that people are going to hate on you just for being yourself, and again, just showcasing herself and being a role model for so many different trans people, LGBTQ community, people who are different, who aren't afraid to be themselves. Again, just I love what she does in AEW. Like her again, being the heel, she is truly a funny person in real life, and just going out there and not being afraid to be booed and be hated. I can only imagine the kind of DMs that she gets, but she's still on social media. She doesn't shy away. She lets her personality outshine all that kind of hate, and I just really admire her for that. The last one for me is Becky Lynch. Again, for me, is somebody who took a lot of shit. Oh, you need to man up, and you need to do things. For for a woman to take the moniker the man and to run with it, man, meant a lot to me. The man shirt was one of the first shirts that I bought, and I wore it. And at first, I was afraid to, like, oh my god, people are gonna give me shit for saying I'm the man. But I'm like, if shit, if Becky Lynch can do it, why can't I? And so she really allowed me to own my masculinity and be like, I'm good just the way I am. I don't need to man up for nobody else. As somebody, again, like I'm an emotional person like you, Taylor, and I used to cry at jobs, and bosses would tell me, oh, I don't think you could be a manager because you're gonna cry. And I'm like, just because I wear my emotions on my sleeve, it doesn't make me weak. It makes me strong because I'm not afraid to show who I am, and I'm not afraid to let my emotions show out. So I think like Becky Lynch taking that, and also just to somebody who I think for a lot of people, she was the fourth horsewoman, and to go into WWE and be one of the biggest stars they just had in general at the time of 2019. Again, just a good role model for me. My other one, again, the reason that said it was another one for me is Nia Jax too, for the same thing that Taylor was sharing. Like she had a lot of body shaming, and she showed that big is beautiful, and a lot of times where women want to sexualize the stars and talk, oh, you're fat, get off my screen. Like she goes out there and gets a lot of hate, and yeah, she's not the best wrestler in the world, but she wrestles in her limitations. She's won and lost over 100 pounds. She got herself a simple moveset now that fits there. She's elevating Lash Legend. Like someone who took a lot of hate and came back stronger than ever, and came back to when it was okay. She could have ran away. Like again, Nia Jax is another one that I want to showcase too. As somebody who deserves those flowers as well. Again, thank you all for some great choices. I love the diversity of all of our choices. Again, a lot of women that deserve to be showcased. Again, all your guys' answers is what makes me know like we have the good team here to showcase women's wrestling, because it was just a good foray of things. Our next segment again is a shout out to Brandy Rhodes, Soap and Mike Night bitches. Again, this is our last segment. We're gonna go 2 rounds. Taylor, start us off. what's something you want to shout out or something you want to say?
So first I want to shout out, one, the person who made this for me, or not for me, but she made it. Her name is Jillian. She is a part of AEW Heels. Her Etsy store is called Hard Cam Creations. She doesn't have a whole ton up on there right now because everyone was just buying up what she had. But the amount of, I don't know if I can like take this off, it's gonna like mess up my hair, but like the amount of like detail and stuff that went into her making this, like I'm excited to wear this to my Collision show in May. Like, so there's that.
Are you going to Collision in May?
I'm going to Collision in May. But I also just want to shout out AEW Heels in general because they are it is a very welcoming community for women's wrestling, women and women identifying wrestling fans. So with that, it's a obviously if you're a woman or woman identifying and you're watching this and you are interested, it is on AEW's website. It's like it says AEW Heels up at the top, and it's a yearly subscription of like $49. So you pay it once a year. I honestly think it's so worth it. Just being able to like meet up with everybody, and like they do a bunch of meetups. Like we get virtual meetups once a month with different wrestlers. Like this month, if you're interested, is Jamie Hayter. So if y'all want to get a question in,
you might be interested in that one.
Hayter. But also it's nice to be a part of a community that like we all love this crazy thing in professional wrestling. So I definitely 10 out of 10 recommend AEW Heels if you can do it.
Soto.
All right. So first, they kind of blend together, but we often highlight the women in the wrestlers. But where it's a little bit harder, I think, is for the behind the scenes women, like the referees, the ring announcers, the commentators, the interviewers, people like Amanda Huber. Like we often kind of gloss over them a little bit, and they have a lot less opportunities compared to the men. So I think it is very important to highlight people like that. So like Aubrey Edwards, Arcadiara, Renee Paquette, Lexi Nair, and Beta Scott. They often get overlooked. So I think go out of your way to appreciate them and what they do. And then the next thing I have is I just want to shout out to my bad, Dana Massey or Mrs. Matt. Without her, the Young Bucks wouldn't have gone as far as they did. And she has worked for those that don't know, she has worked behind the scenes in AEW. She no longer works with a company, but like her perseverance, her hard work is so much of that is why the Young Bucks themselves, sorry to bring up men, have succeeded. And like I don't think that she gets enough love. She is so resilient, so awesome, and just one of the nicest people that I think I've ever met. Their entire family is so kind. Without her, we wouldn't have gotten a lot of really, really great stuff. So shout out to Mrs. Matt or Dana Massey.
Dev, open mic night. What's up, bitch?
Dev?
They got him.
Are you there, Dev? Are you there, Dev?
They got Dev.
Dev walked into a three-way, guys. We lost him. If he comes back, I'll let him go. But the thing I wanted to shout out was just I wanted to shout out the improvement we made for women's wrestling. You know, like again, like I wanted to shout out really quick, like looking on YouTube, and again, Hard Dog and a Handshake will be on Tuesday. That's my show with JJ. We talk about independent wrestling. Like looking at the clip things, you know, like to get people on the show, like for Fourth Row, they're showcasing women as the headline of the show that week. You know, watching Reality of Wrestling too, like they're shouting the women there too. Like just like we're doing better, guys. Like keep supporting the women because it's working. Like even like when I was at AEW, that like I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh shit, I went to a show recently. You know, like seeing from a year ago to now, like the energy for the women's matches, it wasn't a bathroom break anymore. Like everyone was standing up for the women's matches too. Like for Willow, like for Willow and then like for Willow's title defense. Like everyone was standing up for her title match. Like people were up on their feet. Like the Brawling Birds, like same thing. Like it was like the women were getting just as much as love as the men. And I just want to say, good job, guys. Keep it up. Like keep letting all these bookers know. Book the women talent. Let's showcase the women. Let's keep it going, guys. Again, good job. Still more work to do. Your last one, Taylor. Go ahead.
I mean, other than like what Soto said, just like to shout out our women who work behind the scenes, like obviously Aubrey, but also like Jessica Carr and Alicia Toot and who else did I put there? You said Amanda Huber, but also Amanda and Aubrey are the ones that run Heels, so I sent this in the Heels little community post thing. So if they do jump in here and watch this, I just want to say thank you to them for giving me and many other women a safe space to feel seen and heard. So that is
Amanda, she's had to brave a lot over the years, not only due to the passing of her husband, but a lot of the people online, and like she is so supportive of everybody in AEW. It is very powerful to see her resilience through this all. So I will always shout her out.
Soto, do you want your last one? Go ahead.
I think I would just say support the women in your communities as well, not just your wrestling communities, but the people that you live with, your mothers, of course, everybody because it starts with you. It starts with the people that are directly next to you. So the people you see writing articles, the people you stay making YouTube videos and having podcasts, especially podcasts because they're a heavily male dominated space. Be sure to support them. Not just say, but you go and listen to what they do and what they say, because women and queer people as well are among the most passionate people that we have in fan bases across the board. Like, for example, I thought of this earlier. Hannibal showed that he got a bracelet, and I see majority women doing that sort of thing. Those little things, I think, in fan bases make them so much more tolerable, makes them so much more enjoyable, because there's a lot being in fan bases, regardless of what it is very difficult. And like when I've had difficult times, I always, I can fall back on, the women in my life, such as Taylor, because Taylor's been there with me through so much. I can always find somebody like that, to lean on. So just support those people that are directly next to you.
You're gonna make me cry again.
I'm sorry, Taylor.
No, because I love your guys' passion. Like when you guys talked about wrestling, like it makes me love it more. You guys are gonna smile on my face. Dad, do you have anything? Open mic night, bitch. Are you back?
Dev said his internet is done for, so
okay.
Dev's gonna advocate. I'm gonna say this for him because I know it. He's gonna advocate for more
women three ways. Yeah, triple threat matches.
Watch NXT.
So,
that would say watch
in NXT specifically.
In NXT, yes, NXT. The last thing I want to do, and I just thought about this as we were talking about this. So if anyone from Heels watches this from AEW, if someone lets Tony Khan know about this show, one thing that's been talked about recently is like in the last couple of years is like even like last year, like Forbidden Door, right? Oh my gosh, like are they going to keep being able to do Forbidden Door because Tony keeps signing all the talent? So Tony Khan, I'm challenging you for Forbidden Door this year, 2026. Keep it going, but instead of it all being about the men, let's showcase the women, right? Let's have 5 women's matches on Forbidden Door and only 3 men's matches, right? Use Forbidden Door because again, people talk about it, right? Forbidden Door, man. What are we gonna do now? Because Tony keeps signing all the guys he wants to do. Let's make it a showcase for the women. Still have the men's matches, but let's do like the women of Stardom, the women of CMLL, the women overseas. Bring in a Charlie for a Forbidden Door match. Like use Forbidden Door as your pay-per-view going forward to showcase women and have more women's matches than the men, and also have it be the pay-per-view where the women main event the show.
I love the sound of that. I've been an advocate for bringing like Tokyo Joshi and Stardom and all
throwing
these,
the challenge out there again. Let's keep Forbidden Door around and let's just have that be the show where there's more women than there is men matches. Please and thank you.
Don't force your roster to have to go elsewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you all for being here again. Thank you all for being in the comments reacting to this. Again, we thank you all for again allowing us to do this. Again, be on the lookout. I think we're going to be next. I think for next month's Forbidden Door, we'll be doing on the second weekend of April, and we'll be doing it earlier time. So again, you guys are on our socials. Please be on that. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not yet following us, please follow us. If you're watching this on my X or the Wrestle Collective X, please go and subscribe to our Wrestle Collective on YouTube. Turn on notifications. Please follow all of us as well. Our handles are there. Again, we thank you all for doing this. If you haven't done it enough, again, it's only 5:45 here in 5:47 here in California, 8:45 in the East Coast. You still have time to go out there and show some women some love today on International Women's Day. Again, women, I truly feel you make the world go round. Thank you for making us men stronger. Thank you for being positive role models in our lives. Again, thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for doing this with me. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Sodo. Thank you, Taylor. Again, guys, we'll be back tomorrow with the Wrestle Collective. We'll be back with Wrestling with Tism at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific time, and I'll be back with Raw Reaction after Raw. We thank you all for tuning in and joining us today, guys. Have a blessed rest of your evening, guys. Take care. We'll catch you all next time.
Peace.
Ladies and gents, thanks for stopping by. And until next time, this is the Wrestle Collective.